Yo, what is up NBA fans? It's your boy Mike here, and it was recently, I believe 2 days ago, as of the time when this video will be uploading, Michael Jordan's 58th birthday. God dang, that man is old, but that's not what we're talking about today. However, on that day, I started to see the age-old debate flaring up once again. No, not Jordan versus LeBron, although that one sure as hell showed up on the internet too. That's not what we're here to talk about today, though. The other debate, which is the 96 Bulls versus the 2017 Golden State Warriors. Which team would win in a 7-game series? And I'm sure you all have seen this take by, every single other NBA YouTuber ever, but I figured I would let you know what my point of view is, and I want to go through the teams and tell you why I believe one team or the other would win this series. So let me get right into it, starting with, as I usually do in any type of video, going over the general stats of the two teams. Now, the 96 Bulls, first of all, were for a very long time the greatest team in NBA history. In 1996, this team went 72-10 in the regular season, the second greatest record in NBA history until Steph Curry decided to smash it in 2016, winning 73 games. They were the number one offense and the number one defense, and they had the best player in NBA history in that season in his prime, Michael Jordan. Alright? 30 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 50% from the field, 43% from 3, his best 3-point shooting season, I do believe, and 84% from the free throw line. Michael Jordan was ridiculous this year. Also on the team, Scottie Pippen with an all-star campaign, 19 points on very impressive efficiency of his own. He also led the Bulls in assists with 6 a game. Dennis Rodman was still a defensive monster at this point. This was probably the last year of what I would call his prime. Only 6 points a game, but his game was not scoring whatsoever. And you can see this team was the best offense in the NBA. Dennis Rodman only averaging 6 points was not an issue. He was there for defense, and he was there to get hella rebounds. The man had 15 frickin' rebounds a game, 6 of which were offensive. What the hell, Dennis Rodman? Absolutely ridiculous. The greatest rebounder for his size in NBA history, no question, and I would go as far as to say the greatest rebounder ever, period. Luke Longley was the starting center for this team, definitely the weak link, although I would say the starting center was also the weak link for the Golden State Warriors, so there's a little bit of a difference there, or I should say it's not much of a difference there. The center doesn't mean much. Luke Longley, he was whatever, he was a typical role-playing starting center. He played okay post defense, and he caught lobs sometimes. That was all the man did. Toni Kukoc was the 6th man on this team, a phenomenal scorer, a better scorer than his 13 points a game would suggest, very efficient, just a very good 6th man for this team. And then the last 2 players of note, Ron Harper was actually the starting point guard. He was a very good and rather underrated defender these days. This team had 3 defensive first-team players in Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Ron Harper gets kind of slept on. The man was definitely an above-average defender, even if not quite as elite as, Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen. Very, very good defender. He was 6'6", which is above average size for a point guard, especially back in those days. He could score with decent efficiency around the rim, even if he only averaged 7 points a game. Dude was just a solid player. He was just a very solid player, and is a big reason why this is arguably the greatest defense of all time. Definitely the best perimeter defense. Last but not least, the Warriors' current head coach, Steve Kerr. 8 points a game, 51% shooting from 3, even though he only took 2 of them a game. And this is where I feel like it's a good time to point this out, alright? Because I'm sure people are gonna, come on me in the comments about, whether they agree or disagree with my take based off this or this that I didn't factor in. Look, these teams played 21 years apart. It is impossible for me to sit here and go through every single little minute detail of difference in the NBA and break down what would be different and what would be the same and blah 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 blah. The league has changed a ridiculous amount in 20 years. 3-point shooting especially has gone way up, pace has gone up. It's completely different, all right? So I am just going to just let you know, I'm doing my best to compare them fairly, but I'm not going to sit here and take all day long to get every little tiny detail of difference, alright? I'm just doing a very general comparison, and my word is by no means law, this is just what I think. Now with that little disclaimer out of the way, let's get to the 2017 Golden State Warriors. Arguably the greatest team of all time, and certainly the greatest super team of all time, in my opinion. Curry, Durant, Thompson, Green, all were all-stars. Alright? This was the best season of Klay Thompson's career, in my opinion. This was the best defensive season of Kevin Durant's career, in my opinion. The Warriors were the best offense in the league, and the second best defense. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant both averaged about 25 points a game on amazing efficiency. Klay Thompson averaged 22 points on amazing efficiency. Draymond Green averaged 10 points and 7 assists on not very great efficiency. This is where Draymond kind of fell off a cliff in efficiency-wise. Like, he went from a decent three-point shooter the previous year to shooting 30% this season. Don't know what the hell happened to him, but, like, he just fell off a cliff when Kevin Durant got there. Never really recovered. Starting center, Zaza Pachulia. Just like Luke Longley, dude's a nobody, okay? The only difference with Zaza is everyone actually knows who he is because he was a dirty player and he broke Kawhi this season. But he was a nobody, okay? He stood around the rim. He was okay on defense. He was a big body. I would probably say Luke Longley was like slightly better, but these guys are not the guys who make this series, all right? They're both pretty much non-factors. Andre Iguodala was the sixth man for this team, 8 points a game, decent efficiency, even though his offensive game was nowhere near what it used to be, and even his defense definitely fell off since 2016. I've heard people sit there and try to tell me that Andre Iguodala was like a sixth man of the year candidate this season. No, he wasn't. Okay, you're fooling yourself. Andre Iguodala was significantly past his prime at this point. He'd really fallen off a lot. He was still a solid enough six-man player, but like the idea that this man was a six-man of the year candidate on the level of like a Tony Kukoc, no. He was not. He was just a solid guy. The Warriors did have a little bit more depth than the Chicago Bulls, I should point out. Matt Barnes, Sean Livingston, Patrick McCall, JaVale McGee, they had some decent enough bench depth. None of these guys were crazy, like Iggy was very clearly the best player off their bench and the rest of them were role players, but they did their roles well, you know? A couple of them, they took threes, even though most of them weren't very efficient. They shot decently enough from the field for the most part, except Patrick McCall, he was just a straight up scrub this year. You know, there were like some okay defenders in there. Livingston when he was actually healthy, which wasn't too often. You know, it was just an okay bench. Slightly better than the Bulls in my opinion, but really nothing to write home about. So, looking at this team, I know many people believe that the Warriors are better. That they're the team who would win. And I will say right now, I believe that the 2017 Warriors are the greatest team in NBA history. No cap. They were amazing on both ends of the floor. They had an incredible big three. Draymond Green probably shouldn't have been an all-star this season, but he was a defensive player of the year. They were incredible. Absolutely incredible. But being the best team ever, being the better team doesn't always mean winning the same matchup. Does that make sense? Matchups matter. And so even though I believe the 2017 Warriors are the best overall team in NBA history, they had the most star power on this team. They are just absolutely phenomenal. And if I had to put them against the field, I would probably have the Warriors beating more teams than anyone else in NBA history. I also believe that the Chicago Bulls are pretty much the nightmare matchup for the 2017 Warriors, for any team that didn't have Shaq on it, or a big man on it that is, because of their defense. And I do believe that the 96 Bulls, did I say the 2017 Bulls? The 96 Bulls, I believe, would win in a 7-game series. Now, it would be extremely close. It would be extremely difficult, and I'm not saying the Bulls would crush them, okay? In fact, I fully believe the Warriors could win this series, and it wouldn't be remotely surprising to me. But if they're playing a 7-game series 100 times, I'm taking the Bulls like 55 times out of 100, is what I'm telling you right now. I just barely have the Bulls winning this series, and the reason why is their defense. The Bulls, this was arguably the best defensive team in NBA history, certainly the best perimeter defensive team in NBA history. You put Michael Jordan on Steph Curry. Alright, now that is not an amazing matchup or anything by any means, but there's few people in NBA history who I believe could stop Steph Curry better than Michael Jordan, because you know that he is going to be on his ass the entire series. I can't think of anyone else who is going to be more, like Michael Jordan's like a freaking, like if you take TJ McConnell and make him like a million times better, but he's got that same mentality where he's just on your ass every single second you are on the court. He is going to run Steph Curry ragged, and Steph Curry's going to get his. Steph Curry's going to play well, but Michael Jordan is going to hound him enough that you don't need to double him, and that is a big way the Warriors succeeded with Kevin Durant. If you look at the stats, the, special ESPN stats that only they keep track of, Steph Curry received like 20 times the amount of double teams as Kevin Durant in 2017 and 2018. And the reason why is he just draws so much gravity. But if you put Michael Jordan on him, you don't need to double Steph Curry. He's still going to get his shots, but Michael Jordan is going to do a better job on him than just about anyone else would. Then you put Ron Harper on Klay Thompson. Harper is 6'6". He is tall enough to do a good job defending Thompson, and even though Thompson is a great player on his own, once again, he's not going to shut him down or anything, but he can do just enough to slow him down, keep him mortal, keep him from dropping, I don't know, like a 37-point quarter on the Bulls' ass, alright? He'll keep him from being absolutely insane in this series. He can contest his shots, he's a good underrated defender who can stay with him, he can fight through screens. I think he is the ideal matchup for Klay Thompson. Scottie Pippen on Kevin Durant. Many people will say that Pippen was the best defender on this team. I think it's very close between him and Jordan, and it could really go either way. I don't know enough to really have a strong opinion on it. You put Scottie Pippen on Kevin Durant, alright? Scottie Pippen, again, he's tall enough, long enough, strong enough. He's going to give Kevin Durant a hard time. Now, Kevin Durant, more than anyone else in this on this team, you can't just shut down Kevin Durant. It doesn't happen. You don't hold Kevin Durant to like 4 points a game, okay? You can't fully shut him down. But Scottie Pippen, once again, will give him a very difficult time. Alright? That's all I'm saying. He's going to make it very, very hard for him, more so than anybody else Kevin Durant faced in the NBA that season, except maybe Kawhi Leonard. Luke Longley, Zaza Pachulia, they're both role players. They're both doing pretty much nothing. They just got to kind of sit there. Now, the Warriors do have better bench depth overall. Iggy, Livingston, McCall, JaVale. But the Bulls have the sixth man, Toni Kukoc, who is significantly better than anyone off the Warriors bench, in my opinion. Alright? Iggy, look, some of y'all, I just think you overrate Iggy this year. He was a solid player. He was a solid bench player, specifically, but he was not some amazing player at this point. Toni Kukoc was a legit 6th man of the year, dude. He was a very good player, and he's going to eat against the Warriors bench. The Bulls, the reason, look, at the end of the day, it just comes down to the fact the Bulls are better on defense than the Warriors, and the Warriors are better on offense, but I think the gap on the other end is larger for the Bulls. If you look at the exact numbers, and obviously they're a little flawed because the 20-year difference, the Bulls had a 115 offensive rating, first in the league. The Warriors had a 116 offensive rating, first in the league. That's a 1 point difference in 20 years, and it's actually only 0.5 points difference if you look at it, because the Bulls were like 115.1 and the Warriors were 115.6. However, on defense, the Warriors were 104, which was the second in the league, and the Bulls were 101.8. There was a larger gap on the defensive end than there was on the offensive end. Because of that, I believe that the Michael Jordan 96 Bulls win this matchup against the 2017 Golden State Warriors. The Warriors could absolutely win the series, okay? This is not what happens every single time, but I think more often than not, the Bulls win this series. And that is my video for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this kind of like team comparison video, maybe I'll do some more in the future. Maybe do one with the 2001 Lakers. Just let me know in the comments. Give me some team suggestions. Let me know what you want to see, alright? Thank you again for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.